Let's just talk first briefly about Donald Trump. Of course, he was booted off pretty much every single social media platform because of his views and the issues, of course, regarding January the 6th and the insurrection at Capitol Hill. But he's now setting up his own online social media. Do you think that's the answer, that actually those who are being booted off by the sort of billionaires in California just set up their own? But do you think it'll be a success?
I'm doubtful. I mean, maybe I'll be proved wrong. I mean, everyone was proved wrong by his presidential campaign. It was far more successful than anyone thought it could be. But I don't think so, because I think in the realm of social media, just talking from a business perspective, there are big winners.
Yeah.
And they're the
Can
established.
I stop you there, Candice? There seems to be a sort of rubbing noise. I don't know if you're moving your phone or something, but there's a constant sort of noise. So if we could try and keep it completely still, that'd be much better sound quality. Thank you.
There we go.
That's a bit better. Lovely. Thank you, Candice. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Business wise, I mean, there's a lot of money to be had in social media. So is he likely to be successful?
I don't know. I think the way it seems to work with social media is things like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, they all have monopolies and they are established. And that's why Mark Zuckerberg bought Instagram, because he knew he had to get a handle on that
Yeah.
very quickly. And he couldn't have lots of competition, because that's just the way it works. I mean, there are alternative social media platforms to Twitter and YouTube at the moment, but they're not that successful and they tend to have very small audiences.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And unless it's big as Twitter is and Facebook, then it doesn't really work. Let's also talk about that Netflix protest. About 100 people protested outside Netflix headquarters. I love that. You can have thousands of people protesting against vaccine passports. Never makes it on the BBC or Sky, but a few dozen people outside Netflix headquarters protesting about a comedy routine. Yeah, absolutely, that is news. But they're claiming that the latest comedy special from Dave Chappelle, The Closer, is transphobic. They've always accused him of being transphobic, activists on behalf of trans people. But I've watched this show. It's not transphobic. Why on earth do they think it is?
No, I mean, this is just, it's almost manipulative, actually. It's almost an excuse to just attack people, to protest, to be aggressive. I think people really need to stop disregarding all these accusations. They're wrong. They're clearly not coming from a good, honest place. I mean, Dave Chappelle, for goodness sake. I mean, such a nice, interesting comedian. I mean, you would never, ever, ever think that he would go out of his way to be bigoted. I mean, it's
No.
just
But
not.
also he mocks everyone. He points the finger at everybody. He mocks himself. I mean, again, just the fact that he's talking about trans people and he incidentally makes jokes about people who happen to be trans. Then he's
Yeah.
accused of transphobia. But that is the way of the world now. Everything is transphobic. There are actually people in the protests we heard in the news earlier saying, comedy doesn't have to mean being mean to people. Yeah, actually it does. A lot of the time, the really funny comedy is being mean to people.
Yes, absolutely. Well, there should be no rules for comedy. What's funny is
Absolutely.
funny. What makes you laugh. And I think that authoritarian people, comedy is their biggest threat, because
Yeah.
you can't control it. You can't control what makes someone laugh.
Absolutely. Candice Holdsworth from Spiked Online, thank you so much. Really appreciate you joining us.